Hello, welcome to Lazy Mini Painting. I'm Laz, the stranger that talks to you, or the weirdo, however you want to call me. It's Combat Patrol Day, the last issue of any of the arcs, so if you've been wondering when the arc's finished, this is the last model, and it's a Boomdakka Snazzwagon. It's just fun to say, isn't it? It's just awesome. And for some reason, that's not pointing right. Let's try pointing that in the right direction. And I can't get rid of that glare. I just can't get rid of it. I don't know why. So here we go. We have a Boomdakka Snazzwagon with a Gretchen at the front and all sorts of things. In this issue, it's going to tell us how to build it, how they want us to paint it. I'll show you why I'm not going to be using their guide because I've already started the Shock Jump Dragster and the Custom Booster Blaster, and they're both yellow, not red. And a new scenario. So not much reading, but lots of building today. So let's get to cracking. And that also gives us the Boomdakka Snazzwagon's stat sheet as well, which will be nice. So what do we start with? We start with a Gretchen. We start with Gretchen. That's a bit weird. Oh no, we don't. We don't start with Gretchen. We start with going to actually look at the portrait mode. Oh, I've got to do it this way, haven't I? I forgot about that. Doesn't like doing it on my phone, even though it's for my phone. Yeah, don't ask. I'm not sure either. Good morning, Northern. Good morning. I'm just on my way over to join you in the chat as well. I can remember how to do it. Or at least do it in some way that's actually quick enough for me to... There we go. Excellent. Red Sky. Make him a fly, Garrett Gork. Use it as the toadstooly type. That's actually quite an interesting idea. How well it would work, I'm not sure, because it'd be difficult to pull off because there's a lot of areas that aren't skin. It's a lot of cloth, and obviously any of the tech holly might be better with fantasy arcs. They might be easier. Which ones I forgot which numbers we're looking for. We're looking for 44 and 45. There's 44. There's 45. So yeah, for red and white arcs, it's one of them. I think it'd be one of them schemes. If done right, it'll look absolutely amazing. The difficult bit would be to make sure it's done right. Put it this way, I don't want to attempt it, but you've seen my paint jobs. There's many people out there that are better than me that could put it out. As I said, if it's done right, it would look absolutely amazing, and there are people who could do it right. You may be one of them. If you are, then crack on, lad, crack on. Good morning, Joey, and good morning, Graham. Joey, you're up really early. Are you getting ready for work, dude? And how well did you trip over? Also, Graham, good morning. How is your day going so far? Hopefully you're not stressed already. And you're feeling better, fingers crossed. Right, so dry fit in this little fella, 44 and 45. I'm assuming you've already got these issues, Graham. So you're going to have a Boomdakka Snazzwagon. I just enjoy saying that so much. I enjoy it a little bit too much, I think. Is this one open? Nope. Do I have a nozzle cleaner to hand? No. Isn't that fun? Trip to London. I'm glad. I'm good that I couldn't get to go down. I am saving for my wedding, so yeah. No way I could afford to have gone down to London for a weekend. Sorry, mate. I do need a nozzle cleaner. I have a nozzle cleaner. Wasn't long to get one. And it's your office day today, that's why you're up early. Yeah, I thought there'd be a reason. That means you could get up and go in. That should be a clear nozzle now. Tiny bit of glue in the section where it's got a stick. And then fitting back on. And now we have a Gretchen holding a pistol. Okay. Now we've got the other Gretchen. 49 and 50 for this one. Start work at 6. Damn. 6. Yeah, that's early. We have 49. And we have 50, which is the splayed out arc. Not arc, Gretchen. No, I did mean to ask, did the Browns win when they came over? Because I saw the picture of you and Mitzi at the game, which I'm not sure if Mitzi actually understood what was going on. I'm sure he was just there for the enjoyment. If he did understand what's going on, then fair play to him, because I wouldn't have had a clue. I mean, I probably would have figured it out with your help. Good morning, Twisted. You was lonely in poetry and thought you'd come over to the landscape. No worries, Northern. Portrait it pops up easier for people because a lot of people use phones and tablets and stuff to watch and go for things. But yeah, it's a lot easier on the the bigger one where you actually get to see the complete state of my desk. Although I've moved my wet palette at the minute, so I have room to put things. Right, so there's the little strapped up gimpy one, which means now I need the front bumper. Oh, and that's a stupid place to put the bloody joint, right on the tip of the bloody spike. I know, Northern. I do need to get some Tamiya glue. EB was messaging me last night, asking me what glue to get, and I sent him a picture of the two that I've got: the Games Workshop one and the Revel one. But I did say Tamiya. I use them, but Tamiya is the best. So this little guy gets glued onto those little spiky bits there, like so. Yes, he is strapped to the front of the Boomdakka Snazzwagon with something stopping him from screaming too much. Let's just say that, shall we? We'll put it that way. Yeah. I can leave the rest up to your imaginations. You're all people. You're all adults. You're all been on the internet. He's strapped to the front with some kind of mask. Let's get onto the actual building of the car now, shall we? Right, so part 3, now that you've built your little Gretchen, is building the engine block. This already looks like a pain in the backside, so we need parts 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, two fives. Oh, that's going to be wonderful. They better be next to each other. So we need 2 halves of the engine block, which are right next to each other. And we need the front of the engine, which is part 1. I don't even know where to start looking for this thing. Flip it over, and it's that one. In fact, I'm snipping that out now while I remember, because with it being that way around, that's not particularly fun to find. Because the detailing is on the opposite side to the number, so it's not easy to spot. Unlike the engines, which are easy to spot because they're on the same side. Yeah, I could do one of them as well. Twisted, don't worry. New nervous systems are always a great idea for people who don't function properly. Oh yeah, this is proper Mad Max style. Listen, Alan. Pretty much my functional orc army pretty much is Mad Max style. It's a shock jump dragster, a Boomdakka Snazzwagon now, and a custom booster blaster. 6 bikers, 6 copters, a war boss with some knobs, obviously Lasgo Thwacker, and a stomper. And the stomper can take Thwacker, the war boss, and the knobs, which is awesome. Right, where are the... Oh, 5s are right next to each other. Awesome, they're here. Even though I do have a war boss in mega armor. With a huge chopper because they made him like that now. It's weird. I preferred him when he was just essentially the same kind of layout as the knobs could be, so it could take power claws and things like that. Now they just give him a huge chopper and made him very generic, and I'm not so happy with it, but I do have the model. Alright, dry fit these. See where I need to sort out what mess I've made. Clean that bit up so hopefully it goes together a little bit easier. I weren't talking because I was concentrating because I'm using a knife and Sparkles doesn't like it when I try and cut my fingers off. I'm being extra careful. And hopefully it's going to glue together. It is, it's going to glue together. Along with the custom booster blaster, this wonderful model will be the one that's ending October on Monday for me on my last models and musings of the month. So that'll hopefully finish a lot of the mechanised sections. being painted, leaving me only to sort out some of my copters, rebase them, repurpose them that way, and then paint them, and then paint my bikers as well. And I'll get all but the stomper. I'm really not looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to spray it out. Well, but you're still twisted. You've just been posting pictures of that bloody Paragon suit. What do you mean you're out? And I've seen the standards that you go for as well. It's not funny. He's bloody brilliant, but it's not funny. You'll probably have the suit, all them suits, and that finished to a much higher standard than I'm going to have it finished. You'll finish them before I get my stomper done. All of them. Just try and add some kind of effect finish if I can. I'll hold this bit together. Right, so that's, oh no, I've still got the two engine block parts to put on yet, which are these two, and they go with the little stubby things towards the back. So them towards the back end, so you've got that lift up. I hope it does give us a shock jump dragster stats. Not the shock jump dragster, the Boomdakka Snazzwagon. Gotta get used to saying it. I've got one now. Orcs like my second official army for Warhammer. And when I started back in at 5th, I think it was because of the Assault on Blackreach box, Orcs were the army that I ran for quite a while. Holy crap! Did I miss a page? Did I miss a page? 1, 2, part 3A, part 3. Oh crap, that's a lot of instructions. Right. So we're gonna be making all sorts of stuff. Starting with the bottom part and the axles and. Okay, so we've got that's labeled 52 and this is labeled 52 and the two parts look completely different. That does not make this fun or easy. Right, so what does the first one even look like? That's 53, okay. So maybe 52 will actually be 52? No, that is also a 52. So what the bloody hell's that one then? Which is a little... like... Right, that's what it's saying is 52. That's 52 and 53. It's also saying that this is 52 as well, which is this little bit here. And that is not... but still, I've seen, yeah, that Ultramarine looking pretty damn good as well. Let's see. It's not 6 or 7. It's 13. So the stick thing it labels as 52. It's not 52. It is 13. You need a 52 and a 53 makes, yeah, them bits which go where? Right, so I'm going to have to cut out this bit anyway first so I can start doing these bits that go on it. And that's the big floor chassis. This nice big section here that's easy to find. And that requires the 13, not 52. To go into it. Is that well? I believe it is. Right. Now, flipping it upside down. That's where we glue the 13 and 50, the 1352. There it is. Make sure I've got my snips the right way around to get as flush as I can. Just to annoy people who are so anal about things. You can't let them go. Shave off the bit of nubbly bit on this one. Because it is quite chunky. Now, never cut towards your fingers, people. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh, timing to music is an absolute pain in the backside. Just timing to a pre-recorded audio track can be a pain in the backside sometimes. I think my video is something like 0.072 out or something, and you can just about tell on one of my videos, and it really irritates me. But I've left it up because it is one of my few videos. So on that goes the T-junction part, which I did find earlier. Where is it? There it is. Is that labelled right? Yes, 17. See, that's labelled right. Are you also off work today? Northern? Can't remember. Did you say you work in the thingy centre? Just goes to show how great my memory is. The only thing I had to remember is to go take my tablet. But the only thing I remember to do each day. This would have probably been easier to do if I'd have done them together, but there we go. That's snapped into place quite snugly. Okay, so flip it back over now. And we want that end towards us because it shows us that's where it is. Well, that's actually quite a snug fit. Right, okay. So we can glue the engine block on into this trough section. Just looking at the portrait chat, because the last thing was Northern's conversation that we had in there. Twisted, did you see that conversation? Just going off painters who might be able to pull it off. I'm not saying you will. I'm saying you might. You'll at least be intrigued. Because that'd be quite fun, especially if you both try it. If you both tried it just to see the two different variants, that'd be quite nice. Right, now I can do the 52, 56, 53, 55. Right, okay. There's 52. Where's 50? What is 56? 56 is a very little squiggly bar. There's 55. As I said, it is a very little squiggly bar. And 56 there. Right, okay. 52 and 56. Be careful in this 52, it is a small piece. You may end up clipping off a bit that you actually need for connection if you're not careful. $52 and $56. Again on the 56 at the bottom, connection point, and what looks to be the peg. You could easily mistake them, so be careful. Right, so that is supposed to go in there. So that when it looks like that, it looks like that. And is it supposed to lean forward? Where's it supposed to go? On the edge of there to... Aha. It's supposed to go from there to there. But on the other side. This is why I'm dry fitting, to make sure I'm actually getting it in the right place. So that's supposed to go in there. Ah. Right, I get it. Glue there. Glue there. And glue there. And rather than doing it the way it says, because that just looks finicky and a pain in the bum, I'm going to do it in the way I've just put it together as dry assembly and hope that that works better. There we go. Right, now to rinse and repeat on the other side. I can't remember where I've put where the pieces are though. Helps if it's the right way around. There's 53. Almost didn't follow me on advice then. In a bit of a rush. Boomdakka Snazzwagon. So we already know where we want to glue. One there. One there. And one there. And then we know which way we want to put it together. starting first, and then trying to do small micro functions with my right hand is not my strong point. It doesn't help when your hand's not steady in the first place. And don't get me wrong, there's me not being steady, and there's some people who are far worse, so I'm not complaining, but still, it's not particularly easy sometimes. And I forgot to mute my phone as well, apparently. So I'm not sure what all that was. But you can shut up for a minute. Still not sure what that was. Right, so that's them front axle bits done for those two sections, which are the two tiny front axle bits here. Now for the two back plates, which go over what looks to be the rear arches. And they're 22 and 24. There's 20. Oh, they're right next to each other. 22 and 24. That was sometimes to get it right. Sometimes to get it right. Other times it's just no. Of course, when I say that, going back to when I said the labels were wrong, I don't know if that's on the Games Workshop one, that's just on the magazine copy that I got. If yours happens to do the same thing, then yes, it's that number on that one. So these go slope side down that way. This should have a little, yep, there we go. Clicking groove. It's got a little square on the bottom of it there, blue on the outside of it. It should click into place on top of that slot. Slope side down, going that way, and then there we go. Quick click. Good, good. So now we move on to 3C, which keeping in the same orientation. We have 2 and 58, and then 57 as well. So which sections? Oh, here along the front of the right behind. Right, okay. That's going to be fun. So I found 2 already, which looks kind of like the Ghostbusters backpack. Just not as high tech. This thing's had a steampunk version of the Ghostbusters backpack. And then 58 and 57. There's 58. There's 57. There's 58. 57. This is another one of them. You've got to be careful what you're snipping off and what you're not on this one. Sometimes you do want to snip off all the way right to the edge of the, or as close to it as you can. And other times you've got to realise that, oh, no, wait a minute, that's actually something that I need, and that's a connection point. And if we chop that off, there's going to be a big run gap. We don't want that. So it goes that way around with this spot at the top. And then this glues over that bit. Right, it's going to have the steering wheel in this, so this is going to be lining up the little dimples with the runner on the inside. So in this case, don't necessarily glue in where what would normally be the quite obvious blatant hole. Because I think we're going to be wanting to put in a steering wheel in there eventually. And then this connects at the bottom down in here. Like so. Yeah, let's see. Yep, that's definitely where a steering wheel's going. You've got pedals, you've got a hot. Yeah, that's where he sits. Okay, what does the Gretchen get? Is there a Gretchen? It's probably something sat riding shotgun. The rocks, for Christ's sake. Even if he's not driving, he can be sticking his head out the window, blasting away. And same points again for gluing, but there's no putting together for this one because it's kind of a shield. And again, it does look like it's eventually going to have something attached to it. Double check from the side that you've got the right connections and it's flush up against. Yep, there we go. So that's 3C done. And if you get it right, it looks kind of like that. You've got the two extra panels on there now, one with the steering wheel and one with the handle. I think it's a handle, that might be, who knows. We'll find out eventually. Okay, so now we're putting the side panels on. Oh, did I get echo? Have I got my headphones turned too far up? Yeah, I probably did. Now, side panels. We need to put together the one. We need to finish off the roll bar in this one, which is the one with the weird mesh netting. Not sure why they couldn't have just moulded it with it on, but apparently they couldn't. They have done with the other side. But this side, no. Nope. This side you have a very small little bit that you have to glue in. I'm wondering when we're going to get back around to those Gretchen because they've been sat there a while. And now we need to find what is 8 and 6. So there's 8. And there's 6. And 6 all the way up here next to the wheels. Opposite side to where you found 13. So you got to glue them together first. Just, making awkward, complicated has been Games Workshop's thing for quite a while. Tiny bit of glue there, tiny bit of glue there, and then we fill in the roll bar. They don't know it's a roll bar. They don't actually know it's a safety thing. To them, they just know that if it's got it, it goes faster because it's more stable. Oh, why won't you fit in there, you son of a mushroom? Red and white mushroom. Absolutely off. They're not fungi. I am sorry, Mr. Thingy Designer, but that does not fit in there. That is a good millimetre out. Which cannot be explained by shoddy chopping, because everything else has fit correctly. You may struggle a bit with this one, because it doesn't want to go. You've got to do the same on the other side as well. I hope nothing's got a clip over this. How am I gonna... I don't get how I'm gonna do that. Unless it's deliberately angled and I'm trying to get it to go flush. In which case that might not help. Let's try that again. Oh, that can't be it. I mean, it can on that section, but it doesn't seem to be on that one. Yeah, this piece really does not wish to go. Right, I'll have a look at the other side first. I may be using the wrong side here. Never mind, I probably am. Yeah. Apparently I picked off the wrong side piece. Because I'm an idiot. And I didn't realise that there was a bloody difference. And I forgot to look at the number. So 54 is the bit that you need for this one. So if you sat there watching me fumble, wondering when I'm going to read the number out for the side that I'm using, I've just done it then, and hopefully it'll work this time. Nope. It's still not having it. Aha, no, maybe it's supposed to go that way around then. Yeah, no, that works. Right, now we're stop being an idiot. I've already done 59. And I need to find 7 and 9. And 7 was here. Where is 9? Which is another one of them tiny little circly bits that I found for 8 earlier. I hate looking for little bits. Because it could be tucked into bloody anywhere. Alright. Aha. Sorry, the camera. We got a microphone? I'm sorry. I need to catch up on the chat for a moment as well. Yeah, that's a lot of words to do, Graham. Although, to get it up and running, you do have to do it. See you later, mate. And enjoy your meeting. Twisted, you are saying you're a pair to build something. Oh, Boomdakka Snazzwagons. Or a pair of ground bear things. Either one, pretty damn cool. Especially if it is that big whopping bear thing, that's good. I do like the look of that. A bear truly big enough to be Lazarus' mother. Which is saying something. Right, so how does this go now? Facing that towards me like that. These long sections go towards the front. So they peg on there, and there. So it goes around like that. Right. I want to glue. Whoa. No, we want to clean off a little bit of there first. Because that wasn't nice. Although that wasn't a millimetre, it's still enough to be an annoyance. It goes up to that point. And then pretty much along there, along there, along there. And along there. Okay. And then that horse goes in there, that one goes in there, that one goes in there, and ka-chink. A little bit of pressure. Everything goes on. And then same again on this side. Chink, 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 chink. A little bit of pressure. Everything goes on. And now we have what's resembling looking like a bit of a cat. Ali, sorry, I'm so sorry I missed your comments. And Mick, how long have you been there? And Sindri, good morning. Sorry, I've been so focused on putting this together. I have not been paying attention to both chats. I am truly sorry. How is everybody? And I've got to remember two chats. Right, so now we have what resembles a. We'll see if we can zoom in a bit. See if that helps. There we go. So what resembles a cat to some degree. Now we need to cut out parts 47 and 48 which clip onto this section. And 18 which will give us the bull bars, which will join there and there and there and there. And I'm guessing it's going to be that's going to be the mounting point for our little friend here. And 46, which joins up back here. Okay, so not too bad. We need 47 and 48 first though. So there's 48. It's going to be essentially, it looks like it's going to be front suspension. Oh, that's a big nub, get rid of that. Don't want big nubs. You can either do it with your snips, if you only have snips, or a mold line remover or a blade if you have one of those. That's for that side. 47, it's going to be the same thing. Again, there it is. Front shocks. Oh, you're not long here, are they? Well, obviously everyone else as well, because I have completely missed them. I've completely missed the portrait cam. Portrait view. Doesn't help. So, right, that's 47. So these won't glue essentially in the trough and around that area, and then glue straight onto the corresponding and matching section of bar along there. And same again with the other side. Are they supposed to go on top of? Yeah, they're supposed to actually go onto those. There we go. That's those done. So we've got two shock absorber things on each side. As I go on top of them. Like that. Now we need to find that bit. I think it's that bit. Yeah. It says 18. That says 18. It looks like the right bit. I'm going to go with it. Sometimes, as I said, they do get it right. Good morning, Buzzard. Good morning. Oh. Hope you're doing well, mate. Or at least not wanting to kill anyone or punch anyone, or I mean, not saying you're a violent person, but if somebody pushed you to that point, then hope not. That gets the front part of the roll cage. Now we need the back part of the roll cage, which is part 46. Looks like a ladder, but it's made from chains. Forgot I've zoomed in, so no, if I zoom out, pardon me, if I zoom out, then you can see what I'm doing much clearer. When I zoom in, I've got to remember that it's only a very, very small window. So this goes spikes out and then across the back here. It's not going to be simple because at the moment you've got two nubby bits. Two holes to get them in. There we go. And that is the back section. Next are two engine ports which go on the side here. One here and one here. And they're 36 and 37 apparently. And a 21 to go on top of the engine. I think I saw a 21. Did I see a 21? I did. It is here. That's a little archy face, so I'm going to do that one first. Because it's nice, small, simple. And it just has to go onto the top of that bit. Orientation and how square is entirely up to you. It's an ARC vehicle. They'll probably tell you to try and put it on perfectly dead center. It's like, no. You had a look at any of this model? I don't think pretty much anything. I don't think anything dead center. The entire thing's crooked. So 37. 37 goes on what would be the left side of the car. I'll say left side. I'm never 100% sure. Not a problem, Twisted. I'll catch you later and have a good. Well, have fun making lunch. Although not your lunch. Ah! Spike just got me in the thumb. Where's the other engine? You got spikes on you as well. Yeah. course it has. And we're not talking little bendable flimsy spikes like the Chaos have. No, 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 no. We're talking, no, I will actually puncture skin and send you to A&E because I'm a big spike. We're talking one of those ones. One of the ones that is actually out to cause you harm. And in a position where you will kind of, yeah, if you're not careful with your fingers, it is going to. So at the end of these, we're going to have big exhaust flames coming out, which are going to look like this. But we need to find the other side to them first. So 39, which is that one, goes with 15. Ah, there they are. Luckily, they're all right next to each other. Concentration on the man's face while he's trying to clip plastic. Hey, you need to concentrate sometimes. You do. That was 39 and 15, did it say? Yes, it said 15. That was a lucky shot because it landed in my hand. So, two little dimples that are on 39 at the top. And 15 slots in up there alongside it. And then this one goes on this side. And comes in at the top of this. There is a little notch for it to go on, so it should slide on quite snugly and have a nice little exhaust or triple exhaust there. Now let's get the other side done. There are always a lot of parts to vehicles, aren't there? It's generally true as well in real life, I suppose. A lot of parts. But the real life ones actually function. This is a model. They could have done so much more than they have done with the sprue. I mean, it's so much easier for everybody. Everybody involved. Did they? Did they bugger it? So we have a new fun word for you to say, Ali, which is Boomdakka Snazzwagon. Granted, if you ever try and use it as an insult, most people will probably look at you like you've got 3 heads. But it's still an interesting word. Let's see if we get into conversation outside of the stream today. So next we have, oh, one for wheels. Oh god. Okay, wheels. Wheels are nice and simple because they're all in little groups. We've got big, little, big, little. Pardon me. So bringing it back over. This one is 19 and 20. Oh, so they're all a 19 and a 20. No. Yes, they are 19 and 20 and 11 and 12. Okay, that makes it easy. So it's one from that side, one from that side on each case. That makes it really easy. I can just snip them all bloody out now, knowing that they are the exact same. There's two of each one, a big and a little, and they go together. That's one big on that side. This is the other big for the exact same one. We've still got the scenario to go through all the rest of the magazine yet. This should be fun. Hopefully I can get this done and the custom booster blaster done on Monday. All in the nice bright yellow that I'm going to be doing, not the red that this is going to make you do. And that's the big wheels. Glue along the vertical peg or horizontal peg or whichever orientation you have it in and put them together. And that's two back wheels. Front wheels are all jiggedy jaggedy. There are 3 spikes missing on each wheel because of join points. I don't know if these are going to have the same little line slot on them to help you put them together, but they've certainly got lots of little triangle pieces to help you put them together. Nope, they don't have a little line slot. Okay. You're going to have to use the missing spikes to match them up. Obviously all the missing spikes being the ones that you've snipped. So which one goes into which? So we want to glue around the inside of the big one. Oh no, it doesn't matter, does it? In fact, we're going to try and get them about halfway between each one. So there's a few missing spikes, 6 in total, and they're scattered around. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. We need them in the same area just in case we need to glue. That's how you glue it too. Although it's saying you should have them all. I'm saying they've been idiots and put the join points where they shouldn't be. Right. So now we've got to attach them to back axles. And, well, the axles. Big one on the back. Little one on the front. Big one on the back. Little one on the front. That seems simple enough. Now we've got to put the arc driver together. And we start with parts number 26, 28 and 29. We have 28, which is the leg sat down. Good morning, D, and welcome in, EB. Oh yeah, we're looking, just remembering now we're looking at that today, aren't we? I'm guessing you've got stuff to do first though. Having a full channel to run. Oh, we glue the torso. Oh, we glue the torso onto the legs. Oh yeah, he's hanging out of the thingy, isn't he? And he's head number 29, which is there. And put a little bit of glue in the nubby bit at the back. Of course, if you are one of those people that goes ridiculously anal on removing every possible scraping and scratching, this is one of those models where you're going to have to go at it. With your sanding and your filling. In fact, this model may well very much drive you to the brink of insanity. But it's still a really fun model. So he's half sat on a chair. I just need to cut out the back of it. And the back of it is number 31. Which is that section. See your kid off to the bus. Not a problem. I've still got a while to go on here. I'm still in the build section. I've not even started on the paint section yet, which is obviously talked through because I'm me. And how lazy do you want to get by with painting minis by just talking it and not doing it? That's how lazy you can get. Of course, I do actually paint models, just usually not on a Wednesday. I'll have a lot of reading to do on a Wednesday at least. Right, so once we've got him like that, underneath there should, yeah, 2 little tracks. They're going to glue in on the inside here where this little runner is. I'm going to glue both sides just because I can't really tell which one's going to connect in properly. He's supposed to go out of the window, I think. Which doesn't bloody help. They could have put that bar on later. But his head's actually supposed to go out of the window. Because, yeah, that's easy to do. What pea-brained, absolute muppety moron designed to put it together that way. Friggin' idiots. Anyway, we need a steering wheel and we need a hand on that wheel. Yes, Ali did say hello. Ali said hello to Twisted, Beaky, and Anthony, as well as UEB, all in portrait. Well, in horizontal mode. I'm just dreading to think what Dee's gonna say he's done today or got planned for today. That 500 is clocking in rather quickly. Got 33 models left to do, is it? Between now and December to hit your 500 before the end of the year, D. Which is a very impressive feat, I must say. But the wheel is 60 and the hand holding it is 25, which is there. With a tiny little bit of glue on the hand. So I can at least get that bit glued on, so then I can glue in the hole, glue on the shoulder, and then very, very carefully put it in place. There we go, that one was easy enough. So now at least he's got one hand on the wheel as he's roaring his way down. He might not be looking forward fully. Well, close enough for an arc, I suppose. What's next? Next is his other arm, which has, of course, it has a Molotov cocktail in it, and it is number 27. There we go. Although this probably isn't petrol, this is probably just whatever the orcs drink, and it burns at such a high heat that they can light it as a weapon as well. How low is he? Right, he's supposed to be really low with that. He's almost skimming it along the floor. and a big shooter. It has a big shooter? Or it has something else as well. It has a mech special. So let's do the big shooter first, which is 23 and 51. Which are right here next to each other, 23, and then there's 51. And this is going to be the passenger gun. It's going to clip on at the front down here. So at least his mate gets to go dakka 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 as he's hurtling along at stupid speeds. With barely one hand on the wheel. Having two hands on the wheel for an arc is bad enough. Barely one hand is certainly asking for trouble. So this clips on, or it glues on, behind the mount. So behind where the little semicircle is for the mount. You angle the bullets in if you can, and then pop it into place, and it's now a belt fed big shooter. Then that glues in on the little there is actually a place for the heavy bolter to go, for the ammo pack to go as well, so try and line them both up if you can. And that's a big shooter going right alongside the engine. Okay, so now we have the vehicle up, the one on top. So it's a 10 first of all. Which is this big plate section here. We do have an arc to go with it, and a great big whopping gun on it. Of course we do. It's called the Mech Special. And it wouldn't be a Snazzwagon without a Mech Special. So, clip that bit out, and now we put the arc together. Which is number 32 and 33. 33 is here. It does look something that Luch Mob would, or Doritos would drive around in more than Luch would, I think. I think Luch is actually the sensible one out of the two, which is quite scary. But you are right there though, Ali. And everyone seems to be having a nice little chat amongst yourselves, so I'm not going to interrupt. We'll carry on a bit with the building. So, to 32 and 33. Now, in this case, I'm going to dry fit because he looks bloody awkward as heck to put together. Right, so that's supposed to go in there, that's supposed to go in there, and that's supposed to... What's stopping it? So, that little nub might be stopping it. And that little nub might be stopping it. Anything on this side? There's a little bit there. It looks like it might want to get in the way. Other than that, not really. There we go, that's much more of a snug fit. That's better. So glue those two together. He also has a lit grog cocktail. It was arm 35 and head 34. There can only be 2 heads left anyway. Well, 1 head left, so that's got to be that one. That's got to be his bonds, and yeah, there's only 1 arc arm left as well. But there's very, very little now to do. I think this might be it. Once we finish this guy off, I open my big mouth. I've just got half the paint's over, and now I've got to figure out where that arm just flew off to. First of all, check it didn't go where the arc leg went. This is the arm that fires the gun. How I can't lose it. Aha. Found it. That was not good. Don't go losing important parts like that. I found the arm that fires the gun. It goes onto this. How on earth does that go onto? What? It looks like it should have a peg for it to go onto. But I just trying to dry fit the damn thing. I can't seem to find the correct way for this arm to go on. Nope. I cannot find the correct way for this to go on. See you later, EB. I'll send you a message once I know I'm definitely free to do. To do that. Well, at least, hopefully, we can have it working. I think I know how to set it up now. I think. I'm not 100% certain, but I think. Move that in place and then put his head on. And then we'll finish up with the gun. And then we glue it all together. We want 40. Or we want 43 and 30, which are the only two sections of the gun that we have left. Like the last two big sections, and then we've got two little pieces. Really, you put two little dimples on either side of the bloody connection point. Are you kidding me? You must be kidding. You have to be joking, right? So, one part of the gun. Oh yeah, at this point you should only have the gun pieces left on the sprue. Relatively simple which one's which. Between the other part of the gun which will mount underneath. In which way I am not sure yet. Probably that way, because that covers up the holes and gaps and looks like the right way it should fit. And lucky me, that just pressure fitted in quite well because of that little burr there. So we'll get rid of that little burr, even though it did help it pressure fit in. But we will be gluing just to make sure it's definitely on. But depending how long it is, EB, there is a good chance I will still be live. This is a long one, not gonna lie. This one is a long build. An hour and a half. Still nowhere near finished. Okay, so now we have this part. We need the bit that goes into this section here. Yeah. Which is the tiny bit with a lightning bolt on it. Lightning bolt goes facing on the outside. There is a peg that it will go into. It should slot something like that. And we've just got the front of this section here to do next. And then it should let us glue it all together. I hope. I'm just not sure how I'm gonna fit that in there. Yeah, there's only one way to find out. So snip the last bit off, which is part 41, and line up the dimples on the front of the gun with the nice new snazzy barrels. That's the gun done, the guy done, and his platform cut out. So come on, let us finish. We've got 2 Gretchen and other stuff to be put into. Aha, this is it. This is the final bit. Okay, so to put it together, this bit goes in here. which is right above the big shooter. There we go. Then you have Gretchen shooting backwards out of the window. So his hand's gonna clip on by the sounds of it. Yep. I'm going to do this bit before I get the other bit on so I can get my finger in. So I can actually get his hand to clip on like it should. There we go. We do get to put this bit on. So this bit should have two dimples there and a line to help line it up. Or is it the no, it's the two dimples down there and a line to help line it up. Yeah, there we go. So he needs one on the back of each hand. One in each dimple. And a little bit along that. And using his hands as the guide. Double checking from underneath. We glue the front bit on, which has our lovely little correcting friend there. So now what's left is glue the gun onto our little friend here. With this peg going into a very small little hole there. And then glue into the hole in the top of the Snazzwagon and a little bit on the bottom of his feet. And this should then slot in relatively nicely there at the back, with him having one foot on a barrel, ready to launch his Molotov cocktail all over the place. Awesome! So there we have one Boomdakka Snazzwagon. Now we just need to glue it down onto his base. Here it is. A little bit of glue on the bottom of the wheels. Glue it down. Get Gretchen back in place. And square it up. Don't want any overhang because it is a based model. Well, it can go a little bit further back that way. That's not a bad thing. So, ta-da! We have one Boomdakka Snazzwagon, which I'm now going to put to one side to sort everything else out. No worries, Ali. Thank you very much for calling in. Painting today, I've done Nandi. I've painted none. I got up, went and bought the magazine to get the model, and came and built the model. So it's telling you how to paint and do lots of bits in sub-assembly, and reminding you that you're going to have to keep certain areas uncovered or not painted so you can glue them. So it's telling you to stick little bits of blue tack in them. So it's saying keep the lid off, keep the front off where the little Gretchen are, keep the Gretchen outside off as well, and leave the main part of the cart. But fill in all the areas where you're going to be gluing so you don't, you don't paint over them and the glue still works. The first thing it does is tell you to paint the entire thing in abandoned black. You undercoat your base coat. Then do a dry brush over over most of the chassis, in fact all of it, it says here, of lead belcher. Not a bad start, not a bad start. It's only a dry brush, it's not a full paint. You are, however, full painting any of the panels, the grating, and some of the... I've just had it zoomed in, and now I'm doing... Forget about that. And some of the coverings for the exhausts and the centre of the wheels. Not to mention some of the metal places on the gun. Now it's going to do all the armour plating in red, as well as the top section for the engine that's coming out the top. All the plating it wants you to do in red. I'm going to do it yellow. That includes the front one with the little Gretchen on. For the guy who's on the back, I want mechanical standard grey on his trousers, and Catachan flesh for his strapping and his belt. Auroch flesh for obviously all the fleshing, for the Gretchen, for the orcs, everything. And Screamer pink for the inside of the mouth. One of them you can't see the inside of his mouth, so I ain't getting it. Wraithbone for teeth. And then Avalon Sunset for the barrel that this dude's going to be stood on. Now it's telling you to paint parts like the bombs and essentially jeans for the Gretchen blue. Paint the bombs whatever colour you wish. And the art glyph on top. Art Corax white. Lead belcher up any of the metal bits, like the spikes, the cuffs, the mask, the extra bullets and bombs that the other Gretchen will have. And then touch up any bits that you need to redo with the bad and black over the engine. Then for shades, Agrax the gun and the insides of the cab. Null oil any weapons or silver areas that you've done on those Gretchens as well. Null oil pretty much most of the front by the sound of it, or at least the big plate on the front, then the trousers and the orcs' mouths, and anywhere that is going to be lots of oil. So on the inside of the cab, you've got some sections that are going to be brown. You're going to get some sections that are going to be non-oil as well. Reichland flesh shade for any yellow areas, so in this case the barrel, and then Coelia green shade on the orcs themselves. relayering just to bring up them final layers now that you've washed everything. So in this case, they're highlighting the black boots as well as all the blue bottles with Calgar blue, and reapplying Auric flesh over the raised areas for all the skin tones. Stormhost silver for all the silver areas and all the metal areas, and Questor Knight flesh for any leathers. Finally, Pallid Witch flesh just to help bring out any teeth section or anything else that you've agraxed that needs to be ivory. And then Pink Horror for the mouth for the guy who's hanging on the back. And then after you've done all that, because the wheels are going to have taken an absolute battering in paint by this point, Mechanica standard grey around the tyre. Then once you've finished painting all them in sub-assembly, take out your tack, put the glue in the spots and assemble it all, and you should get something that looks similar to this if you do it with their painting tutorial. If you don't, pretty much the black and the metallic sections, easy enough. Follow those, I'm going to pretty much follow. It's just the red I won't be doing, I'll be doing yellow. So the collect part, the Boomdakka Snazzwagon. Amid a cloud of foul-smelling fumes, the Boomdakka Snazzwagon rattles across the battlefield at breakneck speed. With howls of gleeful laughter, his crew hurl flaming bottles out of windows and let fly with their guns as they zoom wildly towards their foe, trying to get every last ounce of speed out of their contraption. They have fun loving little guys. So we get to give the background to this again with the D6 on a table that this magazine likes us to do, because it likes to help us create lore for all our units. I'd have to go back through my actual videos to get which ones I rolled, but that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. So in this case, let's roll on a 1 or a 2, which in this case it's a 2. The crew of this Boomdakka Snazzwagon have loads of experience breaking enemy lines with their fast and furious attacks. Nice. If it had got a 3 or a 4, the crew of this Boomdakka Snazzwagon love to drive up to enemy vehicles and then try to get to the foe and try and get the foe to race against them. And if it was a 5 or a 6, the crew of this Boomdakka Snazzwagon love to drive straight into enemy troops and laugh as their targets drive out of the way. So I've got the sensible ones. The other 3 and 4 just want to race, and 5 and 6 want to play chicken. Oh, that's good. That's really good. And we do get a data sheet. So, for a Boomdakka Snazzwagon, movement 12, toughness 7, save is a 4+ with a 6+ invul. That's not bad. 9 wounds in total. Leadership 7 and an OC of 3. Nice. What weapons has it got? Melee weapons, he's just got his spike wheels. 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 7, not too bad. At least he's got an 8 -1 AP and 2 damage, so okay actually. Each range weapons, big shooter, rapid fire 2, 36-inch range, attacks 3, hitting on 5s because orcs can't hit the broadside of a barn. Strength 5, no AP, damage 1. Not great, but not the worst anti-infantry gun. Grot Blaster on the other hand, 12 inches, special rule pistol. Northern, we are up to the data sheet now. We've finished building, so it's all done now. We have a Boomdakka Snazzwagon. I'm just going through the data sheet, which isn't too bad so far compared to other little light skirmish vehicles. The Grot Blaster though, being pistol, 12-inch range, 1 attack, hits on 4s, so it's got more of a chance of hitting. Strength 3, no AP, 1 damage, so it ain't doing jack. Just saying. The Mech Special, which is what the big guy in the back's got. That's got Assault, Rapid Fire 4, and Sustained Hits 1. That's more like it. 24-inch range, 12 attacks. 12 attacks. Hitting on 5s, because again, orcs can't hit the broadside of a barn, but that sustained hit is 1. You hit it on 5s and 6s, which means if you've got hits, you've probably got 6s. So you're making up for some of that with the sustained hits 1. Still only strength 5, so we're not talking, he's not taking out tanks. But it does have an AP of -1, but 1 damage. Not bad. Horde anti-infantry. It's an anti-infantry version. So each one's gonna, not great individually, but they'll be enough to annoy things. So special rules. It has deadly demise 1, so it'll cause 1 mortal wound to things within 6 inches of it. It goes kaboom! It does have the wasp keyword as well. The special rule is billowing fumes, which is an aura. Ooh. While an enemy unit, excluding vehicles and monsters, is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Nice. So it makes, that's not just run up into the middle and it becomes harder to hit and everything becomes harder to hit. That's not a bad little rule. So the new scenario is Speed Freak. Scenario 36 in this case. The crew of the Boomdakka Snazzwagon look out over the plain below them. Amid the heap of scrap and rubble, they spot a plume of dust travelling quickly towards them. The telltale signs of another vehicle on the move, stopping only to throw some rubbish out of the window and discharge some of their dirty oil onto the ground. They set off to intercept it. Soon they draw level and see that it is a Space Marine chaplain riding a huge bike. He reaches for his sidearm, but before he can draw it and execute the Snazzwagon's driver, the orcs let off a salvo of shots and then zoom ahead, throwing up a cloud of dust. For a second, the orcs wonder if they have lost him already. But then the chaplain emerges from the cloud, with twin bolt rifle mounted on his bike firing furiously. The orcs reply with another round of gunfire and then rev their engines to the max. The race is on, and there can be only one winner. So how to win in this one? Orcs. If the crew of the Boomdakka Snazzwagon can complete 3 full laps of the track before their vehicle is destroyed, then the orc player is the winner of this scenario. Why is he talking about track? Why is he talking about track? Right, okay. Space Marine. If the Space Marine player can destroy the Boomdakka Snazzwagon before it completes 3 full laps of the track, then the Space Marine player wins. I want to see the track. And I'm sure everybody else does as well. Let's zoom out again. So we can actually get a look at the track. Okay, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4x4. You have 4 terrain pieces. So there's one set up here, one set up here, one here, and one here, so that you can get past on all of them. There is a 3-inch section on this rectangle, which looks like the finish line, and it's using battle mats 1 and 2. You have the rest of this, which is called the starting block. The players place their vehicles on the starting block behind the checkered grid. When the race starts, they move to the right and progress anti-clockwise around the track. The terrain cards and the parts of the map that are not part of the track are treated as impassable terrain, so you can't go over these pieces and you can't go over these pieces. So you can't just and go around like that. No, you've got to go around the full track. How to play. When playing the Speed Freak, one player selects the Boomdakka Snazzwagon and the other selects the chaplain on the bike. Each round consists of a movement phase, a shooting phase, and a fight phase. These phases operate a little differently in this scenario to how they do in a normal Warhammer 40,000 combat patrol. So in the movement phase, in this scenario you can choose to move normally or supercharge. If you move normally, you can also shoot. Sorry, this is for the ARC players. If you move normally, you can also shoot. Instead of moving normally, you can supercharge. To supercharge, roll a d6 and use that result instead. And that result is your model's movement characteristic until the end of the phase. As a result, and results that affect shooting last until the end of the turn. Units cannot advance in this scenario. Models can move freely in and out of engagement range of enemy models without having to fall back or charge. Oh, okay. So if you supercharge for the orcs, you roll a 1. It's why are we slowing down? And you reduce your movement characteristic by d3 inches. If you get 2 or a 3, it's speed it up. And that you increase it by d3 inches, but you cannot shoot. If you get a 4 or a 5, it's faster, faster. And you can increase your movement characteristic by d6. Still cannot shoot. And if you roll a 6, you get whoa. And then you can increase your movement by d6 inches, and you can still shoot. That is all of them, and that is pretty cool as well. Good morning. Good morning, Kirsty. See you later, Kirsty. If you are playing the chaplain on a bike, if you roll a 1, you have stalled. Reduce your movement by d3 inches and you cannot shoot. If you get a 2 or 3, you chase them down. Increase your movement by d3 inches and you still can't shoot. If you get a 4 or a 5, you get no mercy, which is increase your movement by d3 inches and you can shoot. And if you get a 6, it's for the Emperor. Increase it by d6 inches and you can shoot. So both sides want to roll a 6, whereas the orcs can shoot if they get a 1. Yeah, it's basically a 1 or a 6 for the orcs to be able to shoot, and Space Marine gets out on a 4+. That's a bit swingy, but hey, it is what it is. In the shooting phase, each time you make shooting attacks during this scenario, before making those attacks, roll a d3 and apply the applicable modifier found in the table to the right. Remember that the rules for dice and modifiers can be found in B Basics 2. So in the shooting phase, roll a d3. If you get a 1, duck and weave. -1 to hit rolls for shooting attacks this phase. If you get a 2, it's keep steady. No modifiers at all. Shooting attacks this phase. And if you roll a 3, it's perfect driving. +1 to hit rolls for shooting attacks in that phase. So it's either a -1 or +1 or nothing happens. That's not too bad. In the fight phase, if a friendly model is within engagement range of an enemy model, it can fight as normal during this phase. The player whose turn it is gets to fight before the player who is currently taking their... the player whose turn it is next gets to fight before the player who's currently taking their turn. And of course, if you win as the Orcs, then you claim victory over the Space Marines in a whooping victory as you scream across the landscape looking for the next race to go across. And if you are the Space Marine chaplain, then you will leave the Boomdakka Snazzwagon in a hulking, burning wreck as you finish your job, take out the Orcs, Gretchen, and go on your way to purge the rest of the planet. Again, he's showing us models that you don't get and some that you do. So, Warboss in Mega Armor, which you get. Big Metal Shock Attack one don't get. And I think this might be what you get if you were to get the special version. I think you might actually end up getting a Squigosaur. which would be pretty cool if you did. So what's coming next week and what's coming the week after? Next week it is the 5 Einher Hearthguard, which are the Votan Terminator style model. Very heavily armoured. Very heavily armed. And then the week after, at 61, we get to start the Genestealer cults with our leader model, which is a Magus. Ooh. So, yeah, the Magus, Genestealer cults, and evolution of a cult. So we're going to be learning a lot about Genestealer cults in a couple of weeks. And a lot more about the Hearthkin next week, with possibly a new scenario as well. Hold the line. But issue 60 looks like it's going to be fun. I know issue 59 was, because I've got a Boomdakka Snazzwagon, and I like the Boomdakka Snazzwagon. And I know I'll call it a Daki, not a Dakka, but it's mine. Okay. So hopefully I'm either going to get it this shade of yellow or the shade of yellow for that I've gone for the custom booster blaster, which is why this has not been painted red today. So that'll be my 3 different vehicles ready and raring to go. Hopefully by the end of next week. That'll be awesome. Thank you very much for everybody who's come to say hello today. Northern, Ali, EB, Anthony, D, Twisted, Buzzard. I'm sure I've missed somebody. Definitely missed someone. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed through Patreon as well. I'm planning something just as a trial. I might try to do something, but we'll find out. I will let you know. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night for the Magical World of Sparkles and Oak. I've actually already scheduled it, so if you want to go check it out and set your reminder on. Thank you very much, and see you later. Drive safe.